Let me now bring into this telecast Sandeep Unnithan for the latest on that. Sandeep, this is where do you think it gets more dangerous as well when there's this lack of clarity on nuclear arsenal while we have attempted attacks at the nuclear facilities in Iran by Israel that's happening. How do you look at this situation vis-a-vis the West Asia conflict?
Well, Pooja, the fact is that Israel, as you mentioned, is believed to have acquired nuclear weapons capabilities somewhere in the 1960s. And it became the sixth country in the world to acquire nuclear weapons. Though it has never officially acknowledged the fact that it has nuclear weapons, it is, like India and Pakistan, it is not a signatory to the non-proliferation treaty, the NPT, which prohibits states from weaponizing and creating nuclear weapons arsenals. Now, what is playing out, Pooja, right now in West Asia, this war between Israel and Iran, it's one of the most, fascinating and bizarre conflicts in the history of conflicts. You have two countries here which are separated by over 1,000 kilometers. They don't share a geographical border, and they have been attacking each other relentlessly for over 4 days now using cruise missiles, ballistic missiles, and fighter jets. Now, the point is that Iran has not had an air force of any significance for almost half a century. It literally got its last aircraft during the Shah of Iran almost 50 years ago. That's in 1979 or so. And it has offset this lack of an air force with a very powerful cruise missile and a ballistic missile fleet, and of course drones. It has also simultaneously begun a nuclear weapons program. Some believe it is a civilian program, but the fuel from the civilian plants is being enriched to nuclear capability to about 90% or so. And that is the red flag that the IAEA raised in May or 30th, when it said that Iran had begun enriching nuclear fuel over there to close to more than 80%. And that is when Israel unilaterally began striking at Iran because, as we've seen in the past, Israel, Pooja, is a very small country. It's just the size of Manipur. And for them, it's an existential crisis. If any of their neighbors, any of their Arab countries were to acquire nuclear weapons. So what they've been doing from the 1980s is to attack any Arab country in the region which is close to developing nuclear capabilities. In 1981, they struck at Osirak, which was a reactor that Saddam Hussein's Iraq had been building and trying to create nuclear weapons out of. They destroyed it. In 2007, they struck at Bashar al-Assad's reactor outside of Damascus, destroying it. There was plans for Pakistan's Kahuta reactor to be taken out by Israeli jets somewhere in the 1980s. That did not happen because India did not support that move. So here you have Iran close to acquiring nuclear weapons capability and threatening the existence of Israel for several years now.
And one can see that Israel's operations and mission has been continuously with regard to Iran's nuclear program, to be able to halt it, stop it, to not have it be encouraged.
It's an existential crisis for Israel. The fact is that they will not allow Iran to acquire nuclear weapons because you have a leadership in Iran that has consistently threatened to wipe Israel off the map. And how do you do that? By using nuclear weapons.
How do you see the Western nations here? I'm looking at United States of America, European nations, especially now that the G7 summit is set to begin. How do you look at perhaps that support coming in for Israel or against Iran? And I'm sure there will be Islamic nations that will want to come to support for Iran as well.
Well, no Muslim nation, none of the GCC countries are coming to Iran's assistance. Iran is by itself. It is a Shia nation at the end of the day. The GCC countries do not like them very much. They have issued those statements, but possibly secretly they're delighted at what's going on right now. Iran being hammered by Israel. But the country to watch out for, Pooja, is the United States of America. Now, very interestingly, Trump first issued statements. Marco Rubio issued those statements a few days back, saying they had nothing to do with what was going on and Israel has struck preemptively. But then if you look at the statements that Donald Trump has been making, he has been saying that Israel has been striking Iran with American weapons and that Iran better come back to the negotiating table. So this suggests that there is a good cop, bad cop game being played over here. Because the ultimate aim of Donald Trump is to get Iran to the negotiating table and to keep them there and to sign a guarantee that they will not create nuclear weapons. They will not manufacture
That's been
nuclear
his
weapons.
focus.
And that is right from the beginning. So Trump has been very consistent. Even when he was running his campaign last year, he said, look, it's such a pity that Iran is out of the whole game and we have to get them back into the mainstream. And he obviously sees Iran for its huge gas and oil potential. It's a very
That's
large, it's a hydrocarbon superpower, and he wants to get it into the mainstream. He wants to wean Iran away possibly from China and Russia and to bring it into the mainstream on terms that are favorable to the United States.
Looks
and
like
here Israel is playing a very important role, I feel. And there are reports, Pooja, of course the United States has supplied Israel with weapons, but there is reports that the US warships are playing a very active role in intercepting some of the missiles that Iran is firing at Israel. And sooner or later, it's inevitable that the United States will enter this conflict if it continues for a certain
massive
number of
political
days.
games clearly being played here, and of
Yes.
course there are different missions at play, and Donald Trump wants to take the credit of it all, but we'll see how this goes. Remember, on the ground though, apart from the targeted strikes, there are casualties being reported. There are people, civilians included, who have lost their life on both sides in Israel and Iran. So we'll be tracking that and more. Sandeep, appreciate you joining us with your perspective and fascinating historical updates as well on what this region has been going through for the past few decades.